Okay, we're going to talk about what size capacitor do I need for my HVAC system. Okay, if you look at this capacitor here, okay, this is a dual capacitor, but for some reason on this capacitor, a lot of it's missing, right? So what do I know what the other size is for this capacitor? Because this capacitor is a 70, okay? But what's the other size? The 70 is for your compressor, but then you're gonna have like another number, a smaller number for your fan, but we don't know what it is, okay? Whenever you don't know what the other number is, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your fan over here up on top, okay? The rating is gonna be actually on the actual fan motor. So if you look at over here, okay, this capacitor for your fan, there's a tag on your fan, okay? It'll actually say cap. On this one it says cap 7.5, okay? So this unit's capacitor size will actually be a 70 plus 7.5. So if you don't have the actual information on your capacitor, you could actually look on your fan motor, and your fan motor will tell you what the missing number is, okay? For example, on this one right here is a 40 for the compressor. The bigger number is always going to be for your compressor, okay? The smaller number is going to be for your fan, okay? So this size is going to be 40, okay, for your compressor, and then 7.5 for your actual fan motor, okay? Okay, now on this capacitor right here, this one is actually a 40 plus 5 capacitor. Now, all the numbers on these capacitors, okay, they're actually irrelevant. The only number that you have to worry about are the UF numbers, the 40 plus 5, or the 50 plus 5, or these numbers right here. All these other numbers on these capacitors, you don't have to worry about them, okay? You only have to worry about the main big number right there, okay? Also too, where do you buy these capacitors? Because some places won't sell you these capacitors. You can actually buy these capacitors on Amazon. It may take you, you know, half a day or 24 hours, but if you can't get these capacitors at an actual air conditioning supply house, you can actually get these capacitors like at an Amazon, okay? Let's go check out some other capacitors here, okay? Now, if you look here, this capacitor is for an actual, just a fan part, okay? So if you notice, this is just a single capacitor. It's not a dual. It just has for the compressor side. This capacitor is actually an 80, okay, for your compressor. And on this one, it's actually going to be a 7.5, okay? Now, if they don't have an 80, you can, I rather go down than up. So I would actually get a 75 for this one. It's okay to go down for compressors, okay? Now, for fans, they must be the same exact size. You can never go down or up on an actual fan capacitor, okay? So if you're replacing an actual fan capacitor, the fan capacitor must be the same exact size, or you will actually overheat. You will overheat the fan motor if the capacitor is not the same exact size. The fan motor is actually the only one that has to be the exact size. The compressor, now this is the compressor part, it has to be the same identical size. So on this compressor, you can go with the 75, okay? You can even go with the 85, but actually 85 is not common. The biggest that they usually make is 80 and below. So on this one, you could go with the 75, because I really don't even ever see an 85 out there, right? Now this one right here is a 7.5. You would have to get a 7.5. You cannot put a 5 there. If you put a 5 in this unit, you will actually end up overheating your fan motor, okay? All right, let's see, we got some other ones out here. Okay, Now, if you notice here on this capacitor, it says 40 plus 7.5. If for some reason you get a capacitor that's a 40 plus 5, it will not work. Your capacitor, your actual motor will overheat, okay? So keep in mind, if you ever, it's okay to go a little bigger or smaller on the compressor side, but if you're like, okay, I'm gonna get a 40 plus 5, okay, it will work for maybe a few minutes or maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then your actual fan motor will overheat. So do not get a 40 plus 5 on this actual capacitor. It has to be a 40 plus 7.5. Same thing with this unit, okay? This is a 70. We actually saw that this unit over here was a 7.5, okay? You can't replace this capacitor with the fan with a 10 or a 5. It has to be an exact 7.5 for the fan. If you run this fan with a higher or lower capacitor, it will overheat, okay? So never increase or decrease your capacitors on the fan side, okay? You can only increase or decrease your capacitors on the compressor side, okay? Thanks for watching.